Yadadai-dai-dai-dai. Yadadai-dai-yam-ba-ba-yadai. Yadadai-dai-dai-dai-dai-dam. Yadadai-dai-dai. Yadadai-dai-dai-dai-dai-dam. Yadadai-dai-dai. Yadadai-dai-dai-dam. Yadadai-dai-dai-dai-dai. Yadadai-dai-dai-dai. Yadadai-dai-dai-dam. Yadadai-dai-dai-dai-dai. Yadadai-dai-dai. Yadadai-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai. Yadadai-dai-dai. Yadadai-dai-dai. Yadadai-dai-dai-dum. Erev Tov, good evening. It is, I don't know, it's 9:30 again. It's like always 9:30, it feels like. If it's morning, if it's night, whatever it is. But we're here together. It's been a day of, a lot of a day. I don't know. The moments of feeling like social media is a blessing and a curse a lot today, but also the reminder that, the in your face reminder that on this day of Yom HaShoah, as we bring it to a close, the realization of how many parallels and how many similarities um, to where we were and where we are in this moment. There's just too many things that feel the same. And so it's the reminder to say we can't let it go. We can't let it be the way it is. And so that was the day today. Some of us are feeling like the weight, and some of us are feeling like maybe we made it through the day and it was a great day for us. I hope that's the case for all. Um, but as we close this day and start a new one together, it's hard to imagine that we are 13, closing out on day 13 of the Omer already, of the 49 days. It feels like yesterday we began and it felt so far to go. But as we come to each week's close, there's just another realization that time moves so slow and so quick, and it's all at the same time. It's weird how that happens, right? So as we close out this day, let us, maybe you're thinking about what you're grateful for in this moment. Maybe you're thinking of two things, as that's, the first week we focused on gratitude, and the second week, in this week of Gevura and this week of strength, we focused on forgiveness before counting the next day. So maybe you are still in gratitude mode, and that's awesome. And gratitude can be part of our everyday practice. But in this moment, if you want to share what you're grateful for, amazing. As I proceed to the forgiveness of this evening, as we end this day, O guide of the universe, we forgive those who have angered, antagonized, or hurt us today, whether they did so accidentally or willfully, whether through speech or deed. And we hope and pray that we too will be forgiven for any wrongs we have done today through action or word, willfully or by accident. May compassion and kindness be our guide. Most important. The forgiveness part is very important, but may compassion and kindness be our guide. Compassion not only for the other, kindness not only for the other, but also kindness and compassion to ourselves. I think sometimes for some of us that's the hardest part. So we breathe. We breathe before we count. I saw that bet. Happy birthday to your youngest baby, 34 years old. Is that your favorite? You don't have to answer, just in case they might find you here. It is great to be with all of you, Deborah and Bonnie, Bet, Rachel, Ariella, Samantha, Donna, maybe, Amy, and see, your favorite. I knew it. It's either the oldest or the youngest that are the favorite. It's just how it goes. Might even depend on the day. But if you only have two kids and you have two favorites all the time, I don't know. I don't know how that really works. But it is what it is. I'm going to have three, and two come at the same time, so I'm not really sure. I guess what they say is depending on the day and the time and the action is what is favorite. Margaret, welcome. Great to be with you as well. So, let's add some sanctity to our lives. Let's remind ourselves why we're here. As this Omer counting of 49 days, for 7 weeks we should count, it says. It's part of Torah, it's part of commandments. This is what we're supposed to do. We are ready. We are prepared to fulfill this positive commandment of counting the Omer. As it is written, you shall count for yourself from the eve of the second day of Pesach, of Passover, from the day you bring a sheaf offering. So, yes, we're not offering wheat and bringing something to the tabernacle, but we're bringing ourselves, for ourselves, to be counted, to be to show up for 7 weeks. Didn't work that way for you. So which is the favorite? Are you going to tell us? I won't tell them. So here we are. We're ready. But we're never truly ready, right? Because if we were ready to receive Torah, if we were ready to receive the revelation of self, then we wouldn't have to put any work in. But instead, we show up to be counted upon every day because we want to be prepared. Whether it's Torah, whether it's self, whether it's just betterment of who we are, whether it is authenticity, it doesn't matter what it is. What matters most is the realization that showing up to do the work is what will actually reveal for ourselves the best of what could be. The blessing for counting the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer al sfirat haomer al sfirat haomer al sfirat haomer Hayom arba'a asar yom shehem shnei shavuot laOmer. This is our 14th day of the Omer. Oh, please. Andrea's computer. You know, these federal jobs. There's like Fort Knox security. So if there's a vibration on the desk that the computer sits on, it beeps at you. Like they know who's watching. It's so crazy. So here we are. Day 14. We have completed 2 weeks of this. I feel like we have to do it this way. There we go. Or this way. 2 weeks of the 7 weeks we are together. So what is day 14? It's our last day in the week of Gevura. It's our last day of strength and judgment and discernment. As we stand in awe, serving with strength, guided by humility, we find ourselves in the midst of holy work. In the midst of day 14, Shechina, Sheba Gevura. Majesty, leadership, sovereignty, kingdom or queendom, but I hate that because it's got to be one or the other. What about in the middle? I like leadership. I like Shechina, which is, this presence, majesty. What is majesty even? I don't know. Within strength. So there's something to be said about discipline. We discipline ourselves in so many ways in our lives. We discipline ourselves sometimes too harshly, and sometimes we have no discipline. Counting the Omer and showing up every day is part of discipline. But healthy discipline, like for our own selves, is a chance to build self-esteem, to make us confident leaders. Shechina or Malchut, the masculine form of that word, comes with the idea of confident leadership. And so when we hope to enhance the life of others, help them, guide them, lead them in whatever ways, we should bolster independence. We should always encourage strengthening the purpose, right? We've all been advice givers in our lives, except when we have to turn the table and use our own advice on ourselves. It never seems to work. People always say, "Oh, you have the best advice." And I'm thinking to myself, well, the same problem that you have, I also have, but it works for you, what I give you, but it doesn't work on myself. So, having faith in our own leadership of self allows us to be reminded that we are channels for that which is holy. We're here to be of service. Our lives are full of offerings, and we look for leadership within ourselves to serve in humility and in strength. If we are trying to boost our own self esteem, if we're trying to um, better ourselves, then we need to really be conscious of our own self talk, right? Sometimes we're talking ourselves off the ledge, and other times, we're full of encouragement, and other times, all we can see is the negative about ourselves. And so, the same way we would speak to someone else in hopes to have influence over them or to influence them. I don't like over. It sounds like authoritative. I don't like that. Um, but when we're trying to influence someone, we use a certain tone. We use certain words. We pause between our words so that maybe they're processing it while you're speaking rather than, what did they just say? Like, maybe that was useful. So we have a whole routine, a whole way, and a whole approach to influencing someone else. But when things aren't perfect for ourselves, we've made a mistake, we're not sure of something, we need a little positive boost, we need to use that same conscious effort when we're talking, when we're doing our self talk, motivation, healing, working on our own selves. Let's remind ourselves of that self talk. So on day 14, Shechina Shebegavura, we're asking ourselves questions. There are three of them. The first one being, we ask ourselves, in what ways do we need to be more rigorous with our own selves? Like, in what way should you be pushing yourself to do a little more, to be a little something else more? But using more as the guide for that question. Rigorous, when I think about rigorous, I think about, you know, curriculum in school. Oh, it's rigorous. Okay. With our own selves, we all have different things. Do I have to wait until the 90th hour of the day to load the dishwasher when it gets me annoyed every single time? Or why can't I take these are silly things. We have real issues in life. All of us have our own, but just as examples, if it's garbage day, why do I have to wait until I'm already relaxing on the couch, heading upstairs to bed to have to go out, especially in winter, it's the worst, to put the garbage out? Why couldn't I do it at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock? Well, I never get home that early, but whatever. Why couldn't I do it when I was arriving at home so I wouldn't have to go back out? There are things that we just let go, and maybe we're too lax. Maybe we need a little fire under our butts to get the things done. Why do I wait till the last minute to do something? Whatever, your own, I won't even call them faults. The things that we like to be lax and relaxed about, where maybe we feel often when we are um, reminding ourselves of those duties and getting annoyed with ourselves, perhaps instead of getting to that point, we could think about it earlier so that we don't get to that point. But hey, let me do that before I get annoyed at myself later. So, question one is, in what ways do we need to be more rigorous with ourselves? The second question being, In what ways do we need to be more gentle with ourselves? Some of us held ourselves to these high standards. Somewhere up here where we're always on, we're exhausted, we are burning the candle at both ends, we're making sure that, no matter what, whether it was in our control or not, we are trying to control it. We are trying to make sure that it's perfect. We're going to go down in a blaze no matter what because there's nothing else we can do. We feel like we have to conquer every single thing on our list. We have to, whatever it is, we're not good enough because we got to get it done. When and where and under what circumstance do we need to pull the reins back a little bit and relax, breathe, be more gentle with our own selves? Self criticism is a killer, literally and figuratively, both. And I speak from the heart, and I know that this is things that a lot of us suffer with. Sometimes we need to just be a little more gentle with ourselves. Allow yourself to be gentle with yourself. And third, what are, name them, think about them, call them to mind. What are practices and rituals, things that you do to help guide you and sustain you, to put you in a place where you feel grounded, to put you in a place where you feel strengthened, to put you in a place that feels like a healthy boundary, to put you in a place of discipline, restraint, and constraint, but with the ability to breathe a little bit, the ability to know that, you know what? Leadership is important. Shekhinah, Malchut, whatever that is for today, on this 14th day, in the week of strength, in the week of Gevurah, where, as leaders of self, what are things that help us stay aligned as we lead ourselves healthily, whatever, as we lead ourselves to make conscious choices about when to push, when to lead, when to give a little bit of lead, relax a little bit, breathe a little better? What are the things that allow us to stay grounded, focused? We're leading our own train here. How are we going to do it? It's hard work, I feel. It's a little weighted today. But we have to do it. We have to do the hard work in order to show up for ourselves. Self care is super important. It's one of those things that I'm great at giving advice about, and maybe not always so perfect at taking my own advice. And I think a lot of us are doers. A lot of us on here certainly are doers. And if now you're leading your life with more breath, mazel tov. Lucky for you. Um, but I think that a lot of us are go, 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 do. Um, for yourself, for the world, more so for the world and yourself. And so we need to do the sacred listening is not only to listen to others, it's also to be able to listen to yourself. And so that's our holy work for today. Psalm 14 on day 14 says, "From the mystery, the Holy One gazes upon us to see if there's someone who has the good sense to seek God in all." On the close of what is Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance, on the heels of what is Yom HaZikaron, Israel's Memorial Day, for lack of better terminology, and then Israel's Independence Day, when it doesn't feel so independent in these moments. There's a lot. There's a lot going on in the world. And so when we feel like it's hard to see the God spark in all, you know what? Sometimes we need to see the God spark in ourselves. And maybe that's just the work that we need to do in these moments. So let's do that work together. That's a lot to do, right? When is it that we need to be more rigorous? When is it that we need to be more gentle? What are the things that we do to help ourselves, to sustain ourselves, to show up for ourselves, to care about ourselves? Together, we continue to count. I count on you, you count on me, we count on each other. We like to be counted, and we keep on counting together. For we are one human family, one heart of abundant love. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9:30. Tomorrow night at 9:30. Just 9:30. Just check in at 9:30. That's what we do. Great to be with you, Dawn. Thank you for joining us, Linda. A blessing to be with you as well, and all of you that will sign in at other times because that always happens. Let's continue to love and to count. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. 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 Od Avinu Chai.